So I remember, the interpreter's telling them, the deal, and he's giving the usual, oh yeah, blah, blah. And I just snapped. And I told my gunner, shoot that cow. And he fucking mows his fucking cow down. And he basically said, motherfucker, if I ever have to come here again, I'm going to shoot the other cow. And then after that, I'm going to shoot all of your fucking sheep. And if I continue to come here, I'm going to burn your motherfucking house down. Hello everybody, Terrence Popp here with another episode live from the Lair. Alright, the next bunch of stories I have here, they took place between April 12th or 13th all the way through May 15th, May 18th time frame. Because that's the time that I was the NCOIC, or the sergeant in charge of Abu Ghraib prison. I basically was made that right after the April 10th attack, a couple days after the April 10th attack. And then for a few days, for about a week, I basically did both jobs, the PX and NCOIC for the prison, when I was basically bringing another sergeant up to speed on running the whole goddamn show. Excuse me, I'm gonna pour me a new beverage I have. This is mead, which was made from a very good friend of mine, and it's fucking awesome. All right, all right. So I basically had put in place the SOS. Verbiage, and I put it on inside of the guard towers, and that stood for shoot on sight. Things that were on that list were RPGs, suicide vests. You really can't see those until it's too late, but mainly just the RPGs, car bombs and stuff like that too. But they had to do specific things like try to drive through the barriers, and which did happen on a couple occasions. It didn't end well for those individuals. I got a list here, and I'm trying to see if I can go in, can't really go in order because I don't remember them in any particular order. So we'll just start off with, we'll call it Haji Cleanup. Basically, it's right around April 20th. We'd been taking some 4-inch mortar fire. And on this particular day, 1 in the afternoon, and inside the low priority camp was roughly 3,800 Hajis. They really weren't considered high risk. They were behind, triple concertina barbed wire, and then another row of barbed wire, and then they basically stayed in GP medium tents with sandbags around the outside that went up about 4 or 5 feet. Now, we've been getting hit with these 4-inch mortars. And there was another attack a couple days prior to this, and I actually rolled out to where the attack took place from, which was by a little, you can say it was a little farm-ish kind of place by the power plant, which was about, I'd say 3 clicks away. Just shy of 2 miles. You could see it from, one of the towers, but on this particular day, and this is really a horrible story, and it fucks with me, so you gotta bear with me. I think we took somewhere between 12 and 15 rounds. A large majority of those rounds, I think 8 or 9 of them, actually landed within the low priority camp. And I believe 5 or 6 of those actually landed in tents. And during the day, they were packed with people to stay out of the sun because it's fucking hot as fuck. And the 4-inch mortar went through the top of the tent and detonated inside and just fucking waylaid these people. It turned them into a milkshake. It was fucking horrible. And, the whole attack took like 6 minutes. Okay, it was really quick. It was utter pandemonium, people screaming and yelling and shit. And they got the people from the cache, came screaming in there, a bunch of other people. And basically the first wave that reacted to this entire fucking fiasco they basically triaged everyone and, got them ready to be, medevaced out. And there was all kinds of medevacs, choppers landing left and right. And the low priority guys were thrown in trucks and sent out to fucking Victory. And then they told me, hey, Popp, you got to go clean that up. So it was me and I think 20 or 30 other guys. And we had to go in there and pick up. There was nobody left that was alive. There was just dead people and body parts. Dead people and body parts. And that was fucking horrible. And like, as soon as we started, like 2 or 3 people just fucking fell out instantaneously. They just couldn't handle it. Now, I really don't blame them because, a lot of these guys never seen any shit like that. Next thing you know, they're picking up arms and legs and hands and, gut piles and so forth. And people were really fucking wigging out. So what I had done is, I remember I had put down some of the body bags, and then I stuck a piece of cardboard at the end. And they said the body bags had to be filled, but it didn't have to be filled, with all the body parts of the same person. So, I had a little hangman thing up there, and, when 2 arms were put in there, a body and 2 legs and a head, I zipped the bag up and we dragged it off to the side. And that took about 90 minutes to do that. And by the last 20 minutes or 30 minutes, I was basically sounding like an auctioneer guy, because I was trying to put a little comedy into this, because people were fucking wigging out, man. So I remember I'm like, bring me your head, bring me your head, bring me an arm, bring me a leg, blah, blah. Going through the whole fucking deal. The main gate where you went into the low priority camp, okay, there was so much blood there that it was literally like walking on pudding, chocolate pudding. It was fucking horrible. There's so many flies that were starting to swarm up there. It was literally like, it was like you're standing in the shade, but it was just so many fucking flies, and then they're all going in your face and crawling. If that is the level of hell that, I don't ever want to fucking go there, because that was fucking horrible. Until this day, I can't go into a supermarket that has an open meat counter, because when I smell the scent of the meat, I go right back to that day. I have nightmares about that. Sometimes I'll smell a catalytic converter, and I'll smell a little. It's that irony fucking smell of blood. Fucking drives me crazy. God, that was a bad one, man. Haji cleanup.
Cast out into the street, stripped of all motivation, but still expected to pay for everything as if you're still married. Yet somehow, Greg has been reborn through the simple game of golf. Sinking 30-foot putts has doused the flames of a spiritual hell, and now, life is not all cruelty and suffering. Purchase Chasing the Best Days on Amazon today. A link is in the description.
So, since we're talking about the Haji camp and the 4-inch mortars, I was the sergeant in charge of security, basically, for the entire prison. So I was told that I was responsible for any craziness that happened within 1 mile of the walls of Abu Ghraib prison. And I had already gone out to this individual's hamlet or farm on 2 other occasions, because the 4-inch mortars were fired from his location, not directly from his location, but from the road directly in front of his fucking property. Like literally, you drive down to where his fucking walled house was, about 200 meters, and then there's the road, and you can see the plate marks from the 4-inch mortar, because they put the plate down, they charge up the round, and they drop it in there, and the 4-inch mortar round probably weighs as much as I would say a bowling ball, and that is enough force to fling a bowling ball like 9, almost 10 clicks. That's a lot of fucking force. The base of the mortar, smashes into the ground, which wasn't hard top, it was just dirt. So you can see it as plain as day. So I remember we roll up on this guy, and he's giving me the same old bullshit. I see nothing, blah 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 blah. This is serious shit. This is 4-inch mortar, and I know, like when they shoot from this exact same spot, they basically already have it zeroed in, so, you know, they can easily fucking, you know, target people and buildings and stuff on the inside. So this can't be allowed to be continued. So I remember, you know, the interpreter's telling them, you know, the deal, and he's giving the usual, you know, oh yeah, blah, blah. And I just snapped. And I told my gunner, like, you know, the guy had like 2 cows. I'm like, shoot that cow. And he fucking mows his fucking cow down. And I tell the interpreter to tell him exactly what I say. And I basically said, motherfucker, if I ever have to come here again, I'm going to shoot the other cow. And then after that, I'm going to shoot all of your fucking sheep. And if I continue to come here, I'm going to burn your motherfucking house down. Well, needless to say that there were never any other mortar attacks from that area, because everyone there has an AK-47. And this is no longer a joke to Mr. Farmer Guy, because, you know, it's his livelihood at risk here, because I wasn't fucking around. So I'm pretty sure when he saw him setting up the fucking mortar, he marched out with his with his fucking AK and said, hey, get the fuck out of here, motherfuckers. This is no longer a fucking laughing matter. And they launched their fucking forged mortars from another place. And then about a week later, I got called into the colonel's office. And I got yelled at because the civil affairs team had to pay a farmer $500 for a cow that I executed. I told him it was a complete accident and it would never happen again. And I don't remember such an event. And he just kind of went, yeah, okay. Because, you know, I was getting fucking results, okay? I had basically, you know, every time we had a mortar attack, I knew about it ahead of time, because I had, you know, the guys, you know, who were selling their bullshit, you know, giving me the times that when they were going to attack. I had everyone indoors, you know, everyone that was on edge over these mortar attacks, because they're happening all the time. You know, people are freaking out, walking around at, you know, a 9 or 10 fear factor level, and all of a sudden it goes down to a 2 or 3. It's a big difference. You know, I don't believe anybody got fucking wounded from mortar attacks while I was fucking running the show. So, you know, I mean, you do what you got to do. It's fucking war, man. It's not pleasant. All right. Speaking of shooting animals. All right. Now, this took place right before I became the first sergeant. The 425 was working under Colonel Edwards, and I was working under the NCO or the OIC for the entire prison, Colonel Thomas. Colonel T, we called him. Former Navy SEAL. And Edwards was being just a fucking raging fucking prick. You know, before anyone could roll out the vehicle, you had to have an exact round count. And when they came in, they had to do an exact round count of all their ammo. And if anything was missing, then, you know, you had to write out statements and explain what happened and blah, blah, blah. Nobody else was doing that. Just Colonel Edwards, the fucking shitbag. So, you know, I'm doing my deal. And one of my guys, you know, comes and gets me, pulls me aside, and basically says that one of our convoys was rolling between Abu and Victory, and a couple of local nugs, little shitbag teenage fucking ass bags, you know, they threw a rock, and it actually struck one of the NCOICs of the convoy in the fucking head, in the face. You know, you're going like 45 miles an hour. And the rock fucking comes in, fucking hits the guy. I mean, the K-pot took most of it, but the rock still hit him and cut him open and was bleeding. And then his gunner, you know, I believe his specialist M at the time, I'm not going to say his name, because the convoy pulled over, basically just said, fuck you, and basically opened up on their flock of sheep and mowed down about half of them. You know, basically they were having mutton that night. And they were freaking out because they were short rounds, because, you know, he went through like a belt of 60 rounds, or 308, mowing down these fucking sheep. So I found out about it. I was at the front gate when they rolled in. And I remember they're rolling in, and I have, you know, a box of, you know, 30 caliber ammunition. Hold it up, and they drive by. They take it right in the vehicle. So they were 100% on their count, and all the brass and links had been fucking taken care of, and nobody really had to do any paperwork. There was some bitching about that a couple days later via the civil affairs teams, and I just said, you know what, it was probably a different unit. I don't know who did that. Fuck them. I'm not going to see a guy get fucking get his career mowed down because some asshole wants to throw a fucking rock at him and almost kill him. And then, it took a little bit of retribution. They easily probably could have shot those 2 kids and got away with it. They didn't. They fucking mowed down their sheep. All right, we're going to call it right here. We're at 16 minutes. I'm going to try not to burn through all these too quickly because then you lose a lot of the juicy details. So I'll talk to you guys later.